Hi everyone, today we are going to talk about a topic in chapter 6, and that is auction. Well, first, let me introduce the outline of the video. There is totally 4 parts of the content, where initially I am going to introduce the basic information about price discrimination. And that includes the first one, and the price discrimination we are talking about in monopolistic or oligopolistic markets that a firm or the company has market power. And the second, the firm has complete information about price, cost, and utility of their goods. And the third, those goods from the firm are perfect substitutes. And the fourth, the market has no transaction cost. While the purpose of the price discrimination is to capture the market's consumer surplus, price discrimination allows the sellers to generate the most revenue possible for a product or a service. So we are learning about 3 types of price discriminations. Firstly, the firm takes all consumer surplus, which means the price are set for every single person. And the second graph is the price discrimination by indicator. And in this graph, we can see the firm could split consumers into groups, into different groups, and dividing the market into segments and charging a different price to each segment. For example, the music player Spotify has a student's discount for $4.99 per month. Also, in this graph above, we can see the market is divided into 2 segments. The elastic one and the inelastic one. And the third graph is the price discrimination by self-selection. In this graph, we can see the firm cannot directly identify market segments. So that lead the firm makes good with slightly different quality to appeal different consumers. Or we could say the firm is charging consumers a different price for quantity consumed. For an auction, we can realize that it is more likely a type of the price discrimination by self-selection. But initially, we need to know what is an auction and how auction plays roles in market. So, auction is the word that we use to illustrate the process of giving out bids, taking bids, and selling items to the highest bidder or buying items from the lowest bidder. Where auction theory is for analyzing and then design rules for auctions to address issues which can lead to a market failure. So there are also 4 types of common known auctions. The first one is the English auction. It is also called open ascending price auction. And in this type of auction, bidders can call out their bids themselves, and each subsequent bid must higher than the previous bid. So it's more likely a challenge among bidders. And the second one is the Dutch auction. It is also called open descending price auction, where by using this method, auctioneers begin with the highest auction price and gradually lowering the price until the participant willing to accept. And the third one is the sealed bid first price auction. In this auction, all bidders simultaneously submit sealed bids. The highest bidder wins and pay the price they submit. And the fourth one is the sealed bid second price auction. And also in this auction, we can see that all bidders simultaneously submit sealed bid, and highest bidder pays the second highest bid they submitted. So no matter what type of auction, one of the 2 value model that we include next is appropriate. The first value model for auction is the independent private values model. Well, this model attributes that the value of the object is different for bidders. For example, the antique decorations or a painting. And the second model is the common value model, which said the value of the object is approximately the same. For example, like the auction of a company. So why auction is more likely a type of price discrimination by self-selection? Well, let us get to know what the auction is like from the seller's perspective. So first of all, during the auction, it is totally controlled by the buyers themselves, whether they want to bid or not, and how much money they would pay for the items, which indicate the same logic that auction is charging different price for the good with a reserve price, and that means the seller willing to sell an item like the lowest price. For bidders, higher bid increase the chance of winning, but decrease the value price spread. So the sellers tends to raise the reserve price, and the bidders are more likely to willing to pay more. So which will cause the auction pricing is more likely a monopoly pricing. And lastly, one thing we need to be cautious is winner's curse. Since most of the valuation across bidders are not independent, which says one of the bidders perceiving their value of the items to be high, the other bidders will perceiving their values to be high as well. So if the less informed bidders wins, it might be because the value of the good is actually lower than he thought. And eBay is some of becoming famous because its auction services. And eBay is using the English auction that we mentioned above, which start from the reserving price and bidders call out their bid by themselves. Here is an example. A chicken nugget shaped like a character from the game Among Us end up its auction with the high bid, nearly $100,000 on eBay on June 4th, 2021. It is definitely an impressive number of money for a single nugget. I believe everyone will feel suspicious with the price, but it's definitely a great example why auction is the best form of price discrimination of self-selection. So from my point, the bidder that bought the nugget probably a big fan of the boy band BTS and as well as the fan of the game. So the bidder will consider it worthy. And that's all for my video, and thanks for watching.